I didn't think I'd actually make it out of this alive. After all, I have no idea what I'm gonna do when it's time to knock on my family's front door. There we go. Another memory! This is... I can't remember which one this is. There's quite a few of them. I know that for a fact. And if I can, I'm gonna try and get every dream, because these are phenomenal pieces. Honestly, they are really good. Oh, it's a hero's return. Alone in a crowd of rugged men, nursing his drink in the far corner of the old post town's only tavern, Kaim. A single man strides in through the tavern door, massively built. He wears the garb of a warrior. His soiled uniform bespeaks a long journey, fatigue marks on his face, but his eyes wearing a penetrating gleam, the look of a fighting man on active duty. The tavern's din hushes instantly. Every drunken eye in the place fastens on the soldier with awe and gratitude. The long war with the neighbouring country has ended at last, and the men who fought on the front lines are returning to their homes. So it is with this military man. The soldier takes a seat at the table next to Kaim's, and downs a slug of liquor with the forcefulness of a hard drinker, a man who drinks to kill his pain. 2 cups, 3, 4. Another customer approaches him, bottle in hand, wearing an ingratiating grin, a typical crafty town punk. Let me offer you a drink, wheedles the man, as a token of gratitude for your heroic efforts on behalf of the fatherland. The soldier unsmilingly allows the man to fill his cup. How was it at the front? I'm sure you performed many valiant deeds on the battlefield. The soldier empties his cup in silence. The punk refills the cup and adopts an ever more fawning smile. Now that we're friends, how about telling me some war tales? You've got such big, strong arms. How many enemy soldiers did you kill? Without a word, the soldier hurls the contents of his cup into the man's face. The punk flies into a rage and draws his knife. No sooner does it leave its sheath than Kaim's fist sends it flying through the air. Faced with the powerful, united front of Kaim and the soldier, the punk runs out, muttering curses. The 2 big men watch him go, then share a faint smile. Kaim doesn't have to speak with the soldier to know that he lives in deep sadness. For his part, the soldier, having cheated death any number of times, is aware of the shadow that lurks in Kaim's expression. The tavern's din returns. Kaim and the soldier pour each other drinks. I've got a wife and daughter I haven't seen since I shipped out, says the soldier. It's been 3 long years. He lets himself smile shyly now for the first time as he takes a photograph of his wife and daughter from his pocket and shows it to Kaim. The wife, a woman of dewy freshness, the daughter still very young. They are the reason I survived. The thought of going home to them alive was all that sustained me in battle. Is your home far from here? No, my village is just over the next pass. I'm sure they've heard the news that the war is over and can hardly wait for me to have me home. He could get there tonight if he wanted to badly enough. It was that close. But the soldier downs another mouthful of liquor and groans. I'm afraid. Afraid? Of what? I want to see my wife and daughter, but I'm afraid to have them see me. I don't know how many men I've killed these past 3 years. I had no choice. I had to do it to stay alive. If I was going to get back to my family, I had no choice but to kill one enemy soldier after another. And each and every one of those men had families they had left at home. It was the code of war, the soldier's destiny. To stay alive in battle, you had to go on killing men before they could kill you. I had no time to think about such things at the front. I was too busy trying to survive. I see it now, though. Now that the war is over, 3 years of sin are carved into my face. This is the face of a killer. I don't want to show this face to my wife and daughter. The soldier pulls out a leather pouch from which he withdraws a small stone. He tells Kaim it is an unpolished gemstone, something he found shortly after he left for the battlefield. A gemstone? Kaim asks, unconvinced. The stone on the table is a dull black, without a hint of gleam a gem should have. It sparkled when I first found it. I was sure my daughter would love it when I brought it home to her. Gradually, though, the stone lost its gleam and turned cloudy. Every time I killed an enemy soldier, something like the stain of his blood would rise to the surface of the stone. As you can see, it's almost solid black now after 3 years. The stone is stained by the sins I've committed. I call it my sin stone. You don't have to blame yourself so harshly, says Kaim. You have to do it to stay alive. I know that, says the soldier. I know that, but still. Just like me, the men I killed had villages to go home to, and families waiting for them there. The soldier then says to Kaim, "You too, I suppose. You must have a family." Kaim gives his head a little shake. "Not me," he says. "No family. A home village, at least. I don't have any place to go home to. Eternal traveller, eh?" "Uh-huh, that's me." The soldier chuckles softly and gives Kaim a sour smile. It's hard to tell how fully he believes what Kaim has told him. He slips the sin stone into the leather pouch and says, "You know what I think? If the stone turned darker every time I took a life, it ought to get some of its gleam back every time I save a life." Instead of answering, Kaim drains the last drops of liquor from his cup and rises from the table. The soldier remains in his chair, and Kaim, staring down at him, offers him these words of advice. "If you have a place you can go home to, you should go to it. Just go. No matter how much guilt you may have weighing you down, I'm sure your wife and daughter will understand. You're no criminal, you're a hero. You fought your heart out to stay alive. I'm glad I met you," says the soldier. "I needed to hear that." He holds his right hand out to Kaim, who grasps it in return. "I hope your travels go well too." "Oh, go well," says the soldier. "And your travels will be over." "Oh, will soon be over," says Kaim with a smile, starting for the door. Just then the punk charges at Kaim from behind, wielding a pistol. "Watch out," bellows the soldier and rushes after Kaim. As Kaim whirls around, the punk takes aim and shouts, "You can't treat me like that, you son of a bitch." The soldier flies between the two men and takes a bullet in the gut. And so, as he so desperately wished to do, the soldier had saved someone's life. Ironically, it is for the life of Kaim, a man who can neither age nor die, that the soldier had traded his one and only life. Sprawled on the floor, nearly unconscious, the soldier thrusts the leather pouch into Kaim's hand. "Look at my sinstone, will you? Maybe, he says, chuckling weakly, "some of its shine has come back." Blood spurts from his mouth, strangling the laugh. Kaim looks inside the bag and says, "It's sparkling now. It's clean." "It is?" gasps the soldier. "Good. My daughter would be so glad." He smiles with satisfaction and holds his hand out for the pouch. Gently, Kaim lays the pouch on the palm of his hand and folds the man's fingers over it. The soldier draws his last breath, and the pouch falls to the floor. The dead man's face wears a peaceful expression. The stone, however, the man's sin stone which has rolled from the open pouch, is as black as ever. Ah, Kaim lied! Oh my god, that seems to be a thing. Kaim lies a lot. But he does it to make people happy. Like the whole, with Hannah's departure, he said he'd see her soon, even though that's obviously not going to happen because he can't die. That's shitty. That guy saved Kaim, even though he shouldn't have. As weird as it sounds, he didn't need to sacrifice himself for Kaim, because Kaim can't die. Oh my god. Is there a... yeah, there's a dream. Over here. There's 3 dreams in the tavern. I used to work as a jail warden. It was so strange to see the prisoners starting riots over and over again. All it did was extend their sentences, you know? I have no idea why they kept on acting that way, really. Oh dear. Captive. Oh. In the mind of a captive. He knows that it is useless, but he can't suppress the impulse that wells up from within his own flesh. He needs to do it. To hurl his entire body against the bars. It does no good at all. His flesh simply bounces off the thick iron bars. "Number 8, what the hell are you doing?" The guard's angry shout echoes down the corridor. The prisoners are never called by name, only by the numbers of on their cells. Kaim is number 8. Kaim says nothing. Instead, he slams his shoulder against the bars. The massive bars of iron never budge. All they do is leave a dull, heavy ache in Kaim's superbly conditioned muscle and bones. Now, instead of shouting again, the guard blows his whistle and the other guards come running from their station. "Number 8, what's it going to take to make you understand? Do you want to be thrown into the punishment cell? Don't look at me like that. Start resisting, and all it will get you is a longer time in here." Sitting on the floor of his cell, legs splayed out, Kaim ignores the guard's shouts. He has been to the punishment room any number of times. He knows he has been branded a highly rebellious prisoner, but he can't help himself. Something is squirming deep down inside him. Some hot thing trapped inside there is seething and writhing. Some war hero you turned out to be, says one guard. You can't do shit in here. What's the matter, soldier boy? You can't do anything without an enemy staring you in the face. The guard next to him taunts Kaim with laughter. Too bad for you, buddy. No enemies in here. Nobody from your side either. We've got you locked up all by yourself. After the guards leave, Kaim curls up on the floor, hugging his knees, eyes clamped tight, all by myself. The guard was right. I thought I was used to living alone in battle on the road, but the loneliness here in prison is deeper than any I've ever experienced before, and more frightening. Walls on 3 sides, and beyond the bars nothing but another wall enclosing the narrow corridor. This dungeon was built so as to prevent prisoners from seeing each other, or even to sense each other's presence. The total lack of a change in view paralyzes the sense of time as well. Kaim has no idea how many days have passed since he was thrown in here. Time flows on, that much is certain, but with nowhere to go, it simply stagnates inside him. The true torture that prison inflicts on a man is neither to rob him of his freedom nor to force him to experience loneliness. The real punishment is having to live where nothing ever moves in your field of view, and time never flows. The water in a river will never putrefy, but lock it in a jar, and that is exactly what it will eventually do. The same is true here. Maybe parts of him deep down in his body and mind are already beginning to give off a rotten stench. Because he is aware of this, Kaim drags himself from the floor again and slams himself into the bars over and over. There is not the remotest chance that doing so will break a bar, nor does he think he can manage to escape this way. Still, he does it repeatedly. He can't help himself, he has to do it again and again. In the instant before his body smashes into the bars for that split second, a puff of wind strikes his cheek. The unmoving air moves, if only for that brief interval. The touch of the air is the one thing that gives Kaim a fragmentary hint of the flow of time. The guard comes running, faces grim with anger. Now I can see human shapes where before there was only a wall. That alone is enough to lift my spirits. Don't these guards realise that? Alright, number 8, it's the punishment room for you. Let's see if 3 days in there will cool your head. Kaim's lips relax into a smile when he hears the order. Really? Don't these guys get it? Now my scenery will change. Time will start flowing again. I'm thankful for that. Kaim laughs aloud. The guards tie his hands behind him, put chains on his ankles, and start for the punishment room. What the hell are you laughing at, number 8? Yeah, stop it, we'll punish you even more. But Kaim just keeps on laughing at the top of his lungs. If I fill my lungs with all new air, will the stench disappear? Or have my body and mind rotted so much already that I can't get rid of the stench so easily? How long will they keep me locked up in here? When can I get out of here? Will it be too late by then? When everything is rotted away, will I become less a him than an it? The way of our troops count enemy corpses? Oh god. Kaim can hardly breathe. It is as if the air is being squeezed out of his chest, and the excruciating pain of it is drawing him back from the world of dream to reality. Was I once in a prison in the far, far distant past? He half wonders in the space between dream and reality. He has had this dream any number of times, this nightmare it might even be called. After waking, he tries to recall it, but nothing stays in his memory. One thing is certain, however, the appearance of the jail and of the guards in the dream is always the same. Could this be something I have actually experienced? If so, when could it have been? There is no way for him to tell. Once he is fully awake, those questions he asked between dream and reality are themselves erased from his memory. He springs up with a scream, his breath laboured, the back of his hand wiping the streams of sweat from his brow, and all that is left is the shuddering terror. It is always like this. Now too. He mutters to himself, as he attempts to retrieve whatever memory is left in a remote corner of his brain. What kind of past life could I have lived through? Now too. What kind of past life could I have lived through? End. Dun dun dun. I know people might not like the reading, but I do want to read because, as I've said, they are fantastic pieces. Absolutely. And they deserve to be read. But this next one, which is in the tavern again, Well, I think we have to talk to the barman. Yeah. And, after this one, the next one is in the Ypsilon Mountains, so it ain't so bad. Yeah. I can't talk to... Oh, no. Talk to the man at the bar. Here we go. Stupid damned magic engines. Think they can just up and take my damn job away from me? Come on, Dad. I gotta get you home already. Okay. But I think Ura's probably one of the places that... Well, maybe not. I'm gonna say probably one of the places that has the most. The most dreams. A mother comes home.